What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Hands On channel. I just thought I'd take you for a tour here around my winter wonderland, trying to get my glove on. It's pretty cold out here. In fact, it's about 4 degrees last time I checked, so it could be deadly cold if you were stuck out in this, or if your heater wasn't coming on for whatever reason. So I hope you guys were wise and stocked up before any of this Arctic blast or polar vortex or whatever the heck it is came through. I know it totally changed everything around here. You can see my chicken coop here back behind me. We've been having to change the water out about every 2 or 3 hours because it's just freezing over almost instantly. At 4 degrees, you just can't hardly keep it from freezing up, where I have it sitting down on the floor basically. And really what I need to do is put a block, like a concrete block in there with like a 60 watt or a 40 watt bulb underneath it. But I didn't get around to doing that today. So anyways, yeah, there are definitely some more struggles that come around when you're dealing with super cold weather like this. And I'm actually in a state where we don't normally get a lot of this kind of stuff. So this is pretty unusual. Even for February, it's unusual to get this amount of snowfall. And not only that, these cold temperatures. I mean, last night, the last time I checked, it was -5 degrees. At about 6 a.m. this morning. So, and that's not including the wind chill. We've had wind chills in some cases around 30 below. So, I mean, that's deadly. If you were stuck out there and you were homeless or something, or trying to live under a bridge, or even if you were roughing it. You know, my wife and I, every time it gets cold like this, especially when it's been really warm and then it gets cold like this, every time it happens, my wife and I are like, oh my God, it's amazing that the Native Americans and, the pioneers, the early settlers were even able to survive winters like this, because it's so brutal. It just really puts your prepping all into perspective. And, it really tests your preps and everything that you've got going. So one of the things I've been doing is walking over here. Let me flip you around here. My little well house is over there. It's the little red building. And I've been going over there. Luckily for me, it's insulated, so I haven't had any problems yet. We used to just run like a little 40 watt bulb or a 60 watt bulb in there next to the wellhead, and that's always been enough, but we've never gotten this cold. The entire time I've been an adult and been a homeowner, I've never experienced weather this cold. I've had several people, including my father-in-law. He sent me a picture of one of his outdoor faucets that burst, and it even had the little freezer protector thing on there. So that's no guarantee. When you get down into the single digits or below zero for long periods of time, you can get into some serious trouble. And one of the things that's coming up right now, there's a lot of talk about it, are these rolling blackouts, because there's such a big demand being put on the power company that they can't keep up, or they're worried they won't be able to keep up. Therefore, they're talking about cutting people off and having like rolling blackouts, where suddenly for an hour or so you won't have power, and it's so they can send power over to other places. So, I mean, this is a serious deal. And that being said, you should have a generator. You should have gas, plenty of gas, because, with conditions like this, unless you have a 4-wheel drive or a 4-wheeler or a snowmobile or, some snowshoes or some, cross-country skis or something like that, you're not going to be traveling very easily in this stuff. For the most part, I've got about 4 inches, but we've also got drifts in places where, let me see if I can show you this beside this truck here. Right up here in between the house and the truck, there's a huge drift there, and I walked through it in the dark last night, or part way, and that was a major mistake, because immediately I regretted that. My boots filled up with snow. But yeah, in situations like this, things can get real critical if suddenly the power company can't keep your power on. So do you have a backup heat source? Do you have some way, whether that be space heaters running off your generator, or hopefully if you're really well set up, you've got a fireplace, or even better than that, a wood stove. There are times like this that just make me think, man, every house in America should have some sort of a backup emergency, off-grid heat source for situations like this. Because what are you going to do if they shut the power off? Or what are you going to do if it just suddenly went off and didn't come back on, and it had nothing to do with the blackouts, but maybe the equipment just got too cold and stuff like that? So Anyways, guys, I'm just finishing up my day out here, finishing up my chores. We've been beating the path back and forth of this chicken coop over here, trying to keep them alive because, you know, they're part of my survival plan. So all of that stuff becomes critical whenever the temperatures get down in the single digits like this, and especially with these, I mean, atrocious wind chills. You know, I've never felt minus 30-degree wind chills until last night, and let's just put it this way, it was an eye-opener for me. I wasn't expecting it. I mean, it was the kind of thing that it really hurt. And earlier I was riding my four-wheeler around because I was just testing it out. I wanted to see how the four-wheeler would do in conditions like this, and it did great. It was a constant drift, basically. It was a controlled slide the entire time, but because it's four-wheel drive, it actually does pretty well around here. And maybe I'll insert a clip here at the end of me having fun. So don't forget to have fun during all this stuff, obviously, but, you know, this is a serious deal. Again, I'm hearing about major city water supplies freezing up solid, and then suddenly people don't have water. So hopefully you guys have done what we've talked about in the past and stocked up. So anyways, I want to kind of try to keep it short here because I'm afraid my camera is going to freeze up. It's so darn cold out here. So good luck to you guys. Stay warm. Put another log in the wood stove if you got one, or in the fire. And until then, keep on prepping, and we'll see you next time. It's cold. I'm going inside.